Hello, it's me. And today I'm going to make a very quick video about the history of Finland. Keep in mind that this is just a summary of a longer, more detailed video that I made before. So if you want to see more, check out my channel. Before we start, I want to tell you that there was no written history of Finland before the 12th century. Before that, stories were passed down orally from generation to generation. The oldest written sources we have are written by Swedish and Danish chroniclers, who often did not get their facts right or ignored the Finns completely. But even though our knowledge of early Finnish history is limited, we do know that the area was inhabited by the 8th century. The first inhabitants were the ancestors of the modern Sami people, followed by the ancestors of the Estonians and the Finns. These people were likely related and spoke similar languages. The ancestors of the Finns probably arrived in Finland around the 6th century. At this time, Finland was still a part of the larger region of Estonia, which itself was a part of the Scandinavian world. Both were ruled by the Swedish king at the time. In the 9th and 10th centuries, Viking raids became more and more common throughout Europe, including in Finland. But during this time, the Finnish tribes seem to have been more involved in trade with the Vikings than in conflict with them. During the 11th century, the population grew and the landscape was transformed as the forests were cleared for farming and settlements began to emerge. During the 12th century, the Northern Crusades took place. This was a series of military campaigns aimed at converting the people of Northern Europe to Christianity. In 1157, the Swedish king began his campaign in Finland and converted many of the local chieftains. However, the majority of the Finnish people remained unconverted. For the next 2 centuries, the Swedish, Danish, and German orders fought over the region. But it was not until 1249 that the Northern Crusades were considered to be finished. By this time, most of Finland was Christianized. In 1156, the former king of Sweden granted the northern part of Finland to the Teutonic Order, but this was later revoked. In 1158, he reaffirmed his claim over Finland and appointed a royal governor to rule over it. But this did not stop the Teutonic Order from invading Finland again in 1164. They were once again repelled, and King Erik IX came to power in 1165. He worked towards the Christianization of Finland, and in 1172, the first bishopric was established. Over the next few decades, conflicts continued between the Kingdom of Sweden and the Teutonic Order over the region of Finland. In 1237, the Treaty of Finland was signed, which established a border between Sweden and the Teutonic Order. The treaty also stated that the northern coast of Finland would belong to Sweden and the southern coast would belong to the Order. However, the Teutonic Order never managed to gain control of southern Finland. In 1249, the Northern Crusades came to an end and Finland had become a part of Sweden. It would remain so for the next 6 centuries. During this time, Finland was largely but in 1323, the Kalmar Union was formed between Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. This meant that Finland was now under the rule of a foreign dynasty. In the 15th century, a civil war broke out in Sweden between the ruling dynasty and the nobility. The war ended with the victory of the nobility and the peace establishment of a new dynasty in 1523. This event is known as the Stockholm Bloodbath. As a result of the war, Finland was given as a dowry to the new Queen of Sweden, Christina, in the early 17th century. The Swedish Empire reached its greatest territorial extent, and Finland became a grand duchy within the Kingdom of Sweden. This lasted until 1809 when, after the defeat of Sweden in the Finnish War, the southern half of Finland was ceded to Russia and became the autonomous Duchy of Finland. The northern half remained with Sweden. During the 19th century, Finland became an important market for Russian industry and agriculture. It was also during this time that the concept of Finnish national identity emerged. In 1899, the first Finnish parliament was elected. In 1905, the first Russian Revolution led to the introduction of more liberal policies in Finland. But after World War I, the instability of Russia led to the Finnish War of 1918 between the Whites and the Reds. The Whites were victorious, and Finland became an independent republic in 1919. In 1939, the Winter War broke out between Finland and the Soviet Union. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Finnish army managed to resist the Soviet attacks. A peace treaty was eventually signed and Finland lost 9% of its territory to the US. During World War II, Finland was allied with Germany, but it was not involved in the war against the Soviet Union. After the war, Finland's relations with the Soviet Union became increasingly strained. In 1948, the Moscow Peace Treaty was signed, which among other things forced Finland to break off diplomatic relations with all countries that had not recognized the Soviet occupation of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. In 1975, the Assen Convention was signed, which among other things further associated Finland economically and politically with the Soviet Union and its allies. In 1995, Finland applied for and was accepted into the European Union. Today, Finland is a highly developed country with a strong economy and high standard of living. Thank you for watching.